Let's see if they can actually hear you. Can you say something real quick? They can't hear you. Uh-oh. Hold on. Um, why not though? Shouldn't just come through desktop audio? Uh-oh. Unprepared. Now try saying something.
Ah,
There we go. Now you're nice and
making
loud.
making a protein shake, Hayden. Very good.
There we go.
No, we're trying to get Kyle's stream situated, Hayden. That's the problem right now.
All right, my stream is situated.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and add you to my little desktop view. Actually, we're just gonna come like back and forth between us two on the desktop. While we're talking, so we should go back and forth this year. Um,
Mhm.
you want to set like a minute timer, and we gotta give like minute napkin pitches about each game.
I'm down for that, yeah. Because
Fuck yeah.
honestly, there's some of these games that I probably don't have a lot to say about, and there's probably some I do have a
Yes.
lot to say about.
Yeah.
So
It can be shorter, but no going over a minute.
okay.
I'm gonna get, I'll get a timer up on screen. I feel like there should be like a Windows timer.
Mm-hmm. I also
Lock
just
app
gotta say, this year,
timer.
like looking back, feels very long. I don't know if that's just me, but like even like, I mean, some of the video games I played, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I feel like that was forever ago. And along with that, albums as
Yeah, I feel
well.
that.
Like the fact that you released your album this past year,
Dude,
I'm
you're
like,
telling me.
it feels like for like no offense, like it just feels forever ago. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
like I keep forgetting, and you'll be like, I released my album this year. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it feels so
All
long
right.
ago.
So, we're gonna go to albums of the year in a second here. Before I get into this albums thing, there's a lot of really good albums this year, and if I put something in B tier, I still think it is good.
Dude, there's
Um,
so many albums that were fantastic this year.
oh yeah, dude, there was a lot of really good shit. Biggest things for albums, uh, obviously it's our subjective opinions.
No, they're
I'm gonna
minor
rate
facts though.
Snitch. I'm gonna rate Snitch what I think is fairly. Because it probably like it's my fucking album. I made it. I love it. Like it would be album of the year. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it would have been, but I'm gonna rate it how I think is fair. Yeah, a lot of really
That
good
is
music
fair.
this year. Fucking I didn't include albums from past years that I listened to for the first time this year.
I was going to
Because
actually
there's
ask you about that because I got into
there
Bjork this year, and let me tell you,
you got into
Bjork,
Bjork.
yeah, and she's got the best 5 album run of all time in my opinion. Like
Mm,
from debut to Medulla, man, amazing.
I I can't really argue because Fall Out Boy had to decide to fuck it up and make Save Rock and Roll.
But they were close. But yeah, no.
If
So
the album that would have contained Alpha Dog, From Now On We Are Enemies, and Lake Effect Kid would have came out, they would have
mm,
had the best 5 album run of any fucking band.
yeah,
Every Time I Die is another one that has a really good 5 album run. But yeah. I think we're only gonna match on maybe like an album or two here, Kyle.
let's see. Oh my gosh, I forgot the Gorillaz album came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
I
gosh.
really forgot about that one. That was one
Yeah.
that I like. There was a lot
Holy
of these that I
cow.
had to like look up and be like, did that album fucking come out this year?
Yeah, oh my gosh. I don't know
Yeah,
why that's like hitting me so weird.
like the new Gideon album right here. I completely forgot about that album, but that was
Hmm.
all I played for like a week when it came out.
Yeah.
And then it just like it faded from me so quickly. Yeah.
Cool. Also, I'm going to do. I've listened to like 100 plus albums this year, so I'm not doing a tier list. I was just going to do my top 10, and I
Oh,
might
okay.
maybe talk about other honorable mention ones. So I made a couple lists that I'm just going to pull up, and I'll just talk about albums if that. So it'll be kind of like a tier list. Like I'll still be
Yeah,
talking
you
about them. I just
wanna
won't be ranking them through A through D.
Snitches above S tier. Yeah, Snitches in the tier of I made the fucking album.
What do
Of
you
course I
think
love
the
it. Of
S
course it is
stands
everything I
for?
wanted.
S tier
Yeah,
stands for
The
snitch.
S is Snitch tier, baby.
Yeah.
No, it's fucking not. Again, I'm gonna rate Snitch fairly on like all of my own critiques of it and like
Hmm.
how I kind of feel about it and like how I feel as a listener, not
Hmm.
as the dude who wrote it.
Well, also as a dude who wrote it, I feel like you have so many extra critical points to make that other people might
Oh
not
yeah,
know. So
absolutely. Like
about maybe
again,
production or vocal takes or something like that. I'll pull up my honorable mentions list and I can just go through. I got like
yeah.
well, actually, I do want to talk about one or two more real quick that weren't from this year. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the band Pan Chico, and I just want to talk about
Oh,
it because
Pachinko?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I found
Pachinko fucking
their
rocks.
their this album from technically 2000. If you don't know the full story,
I
uh,
think your camera's blocking it, but I assumed it was death metal.
yeah, definitely. Can you not see it here when I click on it?
I can see it now. I think my
Okay.
stream's like way behind for you, so I'm gonna
That could
refresh
be.
real quick.
I'll refresh too and make sure it looks good on my laptop.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. But if you don't know, this was a EP that was made back in 2000 by like I think some like teenagers or something, maybe early 20s. I don't know. But either way, I guess they handed some CDs out to some people. And then in 2016, 16 years later, after this band disappeared for 16 years because they just stopped and moved on with their lives, someone found one of their CDs in an old record bin in like Nottingham or Birmingham or somewhere in the UK. They're a UK band,
Mm.
and they just put it on like 4chan or Reddit or something and said like, "Hey, found this CD. Sounds really cool, but also it sounds like it might have some CD rot. Anybody know what band this is?" To which then everyone on the internet tried to find the band, and sure enough, 4 years later, finally in 2020, someone somehow got a hold of the lead singer and was like, "Hey, don't know if you're ever going to see this message, but are you the lead singer of this band?" And he went, yeah." And basically, I guess they just found out that people were going crazy over their 4-song EP that had CD rot. To which then he just decided to release the EP. So can we see the track list here? Yes. If you see the track list underneath my head, the
Oh,
first
I just
four,
realized it is Panchico. I thought it was Pachinko for the longest time.
I don't know.
I didn't see that end
But
or that end.
yeah, so the first four were the original songs, and the other three,
Oh, are these ones down here the rotted versions of
yeah.
them?
So they're like
Oh
all
my,
distorted and
that's so
stuff. Yeah,
sick.
it was amazing. Like it's such a cool story. That's why I just wanted to talk about it real quick, just because
Yeah,
I find that like that's like worthy of a movie. So then
yeah. I'm
they
glad I
actually
didn't put
released
the
an
timer on
album
for
this
that.
year. So no, it's
Yeah, that
really
was
cool,
what I
really
saw.
great.
That was on Maddie Caffrey of the Callous Cowboys' list.
Oh, cool.
The
Yeah,
new Panchico.
it was good. But so that was just the last thing I wanted to talk about. Now advertisement. So here's my and honestly, I could have added like there's 8 honorable mentions here. I could have added so many more because there were so many great ones. I'm gonna start with the 10,000 Gex one because it's above my head, and I also saw it on your
Aha, and
list.
that's also my first one
Yeah.
in
So I
my list.
figured we could just go back. You could just kind of carry off of me after I go over this one.
Yeah. You
I'm
want me to time it still?
yeah, why not? Let's just time it because
Fuck it.
I'll ramble way too much. But this album was great. If you would have asked me start of the year if this album was going to be on my top 10 list, I would have been like definitely, like absolutely. And honestly, this was probably one of my favorite albums for the longest time of this year because I do feel like this year started off a bit slow, and this album was just so good. It was so diverse. I mean, it had I just lowered my chair down. It had ska, it had hyperpop, pop punk. It had basically a children's song with Frog on the Floor, which was probably my favorite because I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's such a fun listen, and it doesn't take itself seriously, but it's still really good at the same time. Props to 100 Gex for doing what they always do.
Yep. I agree with pretty much everything you said. This album's fucking funny. They just it, my big thing that I will always say, I'm gonna throw it in B tier. Because again, B tier is good. Uh, but the thing with 100 Gex and why I loved what was it? 1,000 Gex was their first album that they did.
Yes.
What I love with that is you can hear these weird little glimpses where you sit there and you go, "Oh, holy fuck, these people are so good at making music." Like they know exactly what they're doing and they could make hits that would never leave the fucking Hot 100 and yet they choose to do what they do.
Yeah.
And that is the insane thing of 100 gex and why I love them so much. It's kind of a similar thing with Calistal Boys, where I'm just like, these dudes could make some of the best metal ever made, and they simply choose to do wild ass shit. So
Mm.
B tier for the. I also my other thing for the albums list is I have EPs on here as well. I'm including them because fuck it, why not?
Cool.
Yep.
All right.
Back to Kyle.
Yeah, let's go back over to my honorable
Next
mentions list.
mention. Oh, hold on. Can I address some blasphemy in the fucking chat right now?
Yeah. What are we talking about? I saw something else.
The new Silent
wondering.
Planet album. Listen, I'm not the biggest Silent Planet fan out there. I like them a lot. They're a very cool band. I'm very glad that they're getting as big as they are. But you are smoking huge fucking dicks if you think this is not their best album. I'm putting it in A tier now. It's
Ooh.
it's Silent Planet's best album they've made so far. It just has such a good vibe to it. It's
Not here yet
heavy.
anymore. Oh, never mind. There we
Yeah.
go.
I like all of the Silent Planet albums, but I think this is their best work so far. Back to Kyle.
Cool. All right. Next one. Oops, that's not it. This one. I'm just gonna move up and then move down from under 100 gex. So let's move up to model actress with dog body. And
Alright.
this one.
I'm engaged.
Do you like dance music? Do you like punk music? Do you like industrial noise rock music? Well, then you will love this album. And I just remember there's a dildo on the cover, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to put that on Twitch. So
Getting out of there.
we'll move on from that one. All right, Paul, your turn.
All right. Cool.
I didn't know there was a dildo on the cover all year, and then I watched someone else talking about it earlier this year, and they're like, "Yeah, there's a dildo on the cover."
Chris, isn't Iridescent their last one? And didn't people not fucking like that album? I don't know. I don't think I listened to Iridescent. The last one I listened to. We're having Silent Planet arguments. Fucking, where is it? What was the last album I listened to from them?
Why is your microphone naked?
Oh, because last night while I was streaming Half-Life, the windscreen started fucking shedding on my desk.
Ah,
Yeah.
that'll do it.
Yeah, When the End Began was the last one I listened to from them, and that one was fucking incredibly good. Loved Super Bloom more than that one. Iridescent I heard people didn't like, which is kind of funny. Is this just... Hold on. Oh no, The Night God Slept. Yeah, okay, never mind. So didn't they re-record Night God Slept? Yeah, they did.
Who's the person you're beefing with, by the way? Their message is white and my Twitch is white, so I cannot see their name.
It's my friend Chris.
Okay,
He plays games with us sometimes and stuff.
gotcha.
I love Iridescent. Never knew people weren't a fan of it. I heard a couple people weren't. I heard a lot of people were just like, yeah, this is a step backwards for the band. And then they put out Super Bloom, which, in my opinion, big, good, solid step forward. Are we on me again?
Yes, we are.
All right. I'm gonna just like kind of keep Spotify up on another monitor so I can see track lists.
That's fair.
Okay. All right. Baby Gravy 3 is also going in the B tier. The
Is that
Well
Young
is Silent
Gravy?
Planet's best song. I won't budge on that. Yeah, give Super Bloom another listen. Fucking all right, Baby Gravy 3. It's going in the B tier. I think the gimmick is kind of wearing off of the Baby Gravy tapes, but like there are still some fun songs in here, like No Way Jose, Nightmare on Peachtree Street, fucking You Need Jesus, Swiper Nose Swiping, Despicable G's, Touch Grass, Say La Vie. This one just didn't hit as hard as the other ones.
Is that Young
I mean,
Gravy?
my expectation. Huh?
Is that Young Gravy?
It's Young Gravy and Baby No Money under their
okay.
shared name of Baby Gravy. They
Gotcha,
do
I
one of
didn't know
it's
they did that.
basically like they'll do a year where they both release separate albums and then they
Mm.
release a Baby Gravy tape and then they do separate albums and then like they've kind of gone back and forth over
Gotcha.
and over. But
Is that an album or
Yeah.
an EP? Sorry.
it's an album.
Okay.
It's 12 songs.
Cool. I just haven't heard of it. Must have missed it.
Yeah. Clocking in at 31 minutes.
Cool.
of baby gravy goodness. I think I also am just a fan of their solo works better. Like I think
Mm.
they work better separated.
Hmm.
Like I think when they try to come together, I don't think they lean enough into either of their like kind of gimmicks because they're both
Hmm.
like kind of gimmicky rappers.
Yeah,
But
they're like funny, but like not like comedy.
yeah,
Yeah.
New Spirit Box, they won me back after Rotoscope. Was not a big fan of the Rotoscope EP compared to the song. I remember people said Rotoscope was really weird. I think I still haven't listened to that. But yeah, I'll get to that one eventually. All right, back to Kyle.
All right. So we're gonna avoid the Model Actress album.
Yeah,
But
Kyle showing smut on the fucking timeline.
yeah, the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Petro Dragonic Apocalypse semicolon or comma Dawn of Eternal Night colon and Annihilation of Planet Earth and the begin, and then it cuts off on this website because I don't know why the title's so long. So this is King Gizzard
Dude,
and the Lizard Wizards dip into thrash metal, and honestly, I've always liked their metal and more heavier rock stuff, but I feel like most of the time I'll lean more towards their lighter, folkier sound. But this album really hit for me, and this one was another one that was close to making my top 10 list. It's just really good. I don't know what else to say. It's really good thrash metal. I'm not good at describing metal that well because I don't listen to metal super often. But
That's fair.
this one really did it for me. The vocals, the riffs, the cool time signatures. Yeah, I was really impressed by it, and it's probably one of my favorite King Gizzard records now. So cool.
Nice. All right. I guess since Chris just talked about it, I'll go to the new Spirit Box one. Yeah, we'll go right to that. So Chris is now in control of which albums I go to. Not completely, but if he keeps naming off ones, he might be. Spirit Box. I'm gonna preface this with once again, B is good. It's going in the B tier. It's probably gonna be like top of my B tier. I like it. There's some really, really good songs. Yeah, I didn't listen to the Peeling Flesh EP. Or Psycho Frame. I need to listen to that too, because that's ex-Vatican members. It's going in B. There's some really good songs on here. I'm just not the biggest fan of like Spirit Box's like style of metalcore that they make. It's good. I also think that would have said low A or top of B. Yeah, that's fair. I think if an album is not better than the Spirit Box EP, it does not make it up into the A tier. But yeah, it's good. It's got a lot of good. It's got 6 very solid Spirit Box songs, and that's all it ever had to be. Back to Kyle. I also forgot to do my timer, but I'm gonna say that I was probably under a minute.
No, that was good. I was responding to a message asking about the new Nicki album, and I forgot to listen to it.
I listened to a couple songs because they came up because they had features on them from people I actually like.
Was that a new album or was it like a remaster?
Yeah,
or
it was
something?
a new album.
Okay, I thought I heard somewhere that it was like a remaster or remix or something, or like expanded edition, which is why I didn't listen to it. I think. Also, I didn't hear that it was. All of a sudden, I heard people talking about it, but I don't know when it was released.
It released very recently.
Okay, people were talking about it like it was around for a while, and I was like, did I miss this release or was it like did it just happen? That's why I was confused.
It's Pink Friday 2, and the deluxe is called Gag City Deluxe.
It's probably because it had 2 in it. I was probably like, oh, it's like a extra.
Yeah.
And the deluxe probably made me think it was like an expanded
Why
thing.
is there a fucking deluxe? It's already 22 tracks. Just stop.
It's got to be longer.
Oh, I hate it, dude. I hate.
Yeah.
I hate it when artists of that nature make 20-something track albums.
Yeah.
Like
Drake. Drake's a big problem with that. Or just release album after album.
Oh yeah, dude. Fucking or like when pop albums have like 18 songs. I'm like,
yeah.
You are not doing anything highly conceptual. There is no need for this. Just release more albums more frequently.
It's just for the slight chance that someone might go, I think I like this one slightly better than the other one, and then listen to that one instead. But I did not listen to the Nicki album.
I think it's just a marketing gimmick at this point. It's like, oh, you get so many songs for buying the whole album.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Feeble
Uh,
Little Horse, Girl with Fish.
Girl with Fish. This is like indie rock with some slight shoegaze inspiration, and it's got noise pop there. It says on the genres on this website, which you can see. I'm not blocking. Cool. This was a really nice, short and sweet album by Feeble Little Horse. I think it was just under 30 minutes. And yeah, if you see my you don't see my comment down there. I'm just gonna scroll down because I think this is the best way to describe it. Is it was real fuzzy sounding as shoegaze do be, yet still had this very cutesy kind of vibe to it. There were some fun melodies, some catchy choruses, while still feeling like scuzzed out, fuzzy, and shoegazy and noisy. It's just a really cool combination to have, and it just makes me feel a little good inside. So yeah,
Nice.
that's it.
All right, back over to mine. We're gonna go. I'm just gonna start going in order here. All right, we got Blueprint Blue by Stopwatch. I will say I'm a little biased in this one. These are some of my friends from back in Maryland, from like the scene back there.
Ooh.
This is a couple of good friends of mine who, for some reason or another, got together and decided they wanted to just play like pop punk rock music, and it's good. It is good. Probably some of the best work I've ever heard out of two of these guys. The other dude was in a couple of like bigger bands that did like really really crazy stuff. But yeah, absolutely. Like I not to toot my buddy's my buddy's horns all the entire time, but like it's a really good little EP. I'm excited to see what the hell they do. Yeah, that's what I got.
Cool. I actually I need to go back and listen to that again, but I saw like you and I think a couple other people talking about it. And I went back and listened to it, and again, I can't remember anything from my
Yeah,
first listen. I need to go back though and try again.
it's it's a couple of my friends, Mike, Nick, and Phil from
Mm.
back in Maryland. They used to be in a band called Suburbs together.
Okay.
Basically, this is Suburbs without the second guitarist. And they were just like, "Fuck it, let's make just like fucking rock music," and it's good. It's
Cool.
like nice, just like rock.
Yeah, I'll check it out again then. I
Yeah.
listened to it once, but again, that was so long ago and I don't remember
Look.
much. So yeah,
Dude, I love this album cover.
this one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this band is one of those bands that has to get big. Like it's
Mm.
it's like dad rock, but in the coolest way. It's like if dad rock was made now. Like that's the best way to put it. Is it's like a classic blues rock feel, but with this modern eclecticness that makes it not feel like it's ripping off old music. You know, like people might accuse other bands of doing with whether it's like the 80s synth pop or just like the old classic rock style that people rip off now. They do it in a much more modern. It feels unique to them is the best way to put it. And there's some absolute bangers on there. Honestly, one of my songs of the year on this album Cowboy Nudes. That song,
Cowboy Nudes.
Cowboy Nudes. Yes, it is
Oh fuck
fantastic.
yeah.
It's got a banger like drum break slapped in the middle of it where they got all these honestly the drums through all of it is like really cool. They got a lot of hand drums and different interesting things going on in there, and I'm going to see them in August and I am stoked. They're opening for King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard and I am so excited. But yes, this album should not fly under the radar. If you have not listened to it, you should. As long as you like rock, you will probably like it. So yeah.
Excellent.
Boom,
You've been
geese.
timered, and it's gonna keep going off because I'm making a nice little playlist of albums that I'm interested in from your shit.
Yeah, I definitely think that one you'll like. Gooses, yes.
I still can't hear you because the timer's still going off,
Oh.
but
All right, well,
Cool.
I'll say this now. If people can't hear me, that's too bad.
fucking
But there is a band called Goose.
dismiss. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm good.
There's a band called Goose, and there's a band called Geese, and apparently both of them on the same day recently announced a departure of a band member, and people were like,
Damn.
"Hey," not for any controversial reasons. I don't know about the Goose one. I haven't listened to them, but Geese, the guy was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go finish school," so he was like, "See ya."
It's very fair. Very
Yeah.
fair. All right, on to mine. Yeah, Chris said only other ones I recognize are Snitch, Currents, Holding Absence, Callous Cowboys, Johnny Booth, Polaris, and which he hasn't listened to Polaris yet, which fair. The next one is fucking Flatbush Zombies. There's a mixtape they did this year. I genuinely don't remember listening to this or anything about it, so I'm just gonna put it in C tier. Because clearly it wasn't anything that like spoke to me in any kind of way, but I don't remember it being bad.
Who was it?
So, Flatbush Zombies, they did a mixtape this
Gotcha.
year.
Okay. Cool.
So,
Is that it?
was that? Yeah, that's what I got.
They released a thing.
Yep,
uh,
that's what I have about them.
yes. This one. Oh, advertisements. All right. This one. Angel Electronics. This is like my own little personal vibe. It's not a super
Ooh.
big or popular album from what I've seen, but it features one of my favorite artists, Ada Rook, who is one half of Black Dresses, and also one whole of Ada Rook. And she also released a solo album this year, and I'm just mentioning it because the title of that album is called God Come Poltergeist. Awesome.
Mm,
But this is
excellent.
like a pop punk power pop album. It comes off kind of corny, but I feel like it does it in a way that's really fun and self-aware, similar to like 100 Gex, where it's like it feels like it's playing into the genre as much as it's just like it's not being derivative. Also, it has
Mm.
like Ada's typical, really like heavy sounding guitar tones in it, which I always find really interesting. And it's got really cool melodies, and yeah, it's I think it's pretty solid. And this one also came out earlier in the year, January 23rd, and it kind of got me through the first couple months of 2023 when not a lot was going on. So yeah, I thought this one was fun. It was cute. It was cool. Boom.
Said, hold on.
Angel Electronics.
So this is like fucking pop punk?
Not typical pop punk. Like
Okay.
it's
Oh, timer.
I I don't know if you like it. You might find it interesting.
I threw it on the list because I'm
Yeah.
interested based on the album art alone.
No, the album art's really cool looking. Yeah, it's
I feel like that's what I've done for these last two. Is I'm just like, what of Kyle's has cool album art that I want to look into?
yeah, yeah. It's like
All
got
right.
like industrial metal guitars. That's probably why that's there. Because like it's not industrial metal. It's just like the guitar tones are pretty heavy. It's I don't know. I think it's
Mm,
fun. Anyway,
all right. What even is industrial music? Nobody knows. I just say Nine Inch Nails every time.
yeah.
All right.
Have you also been plagued on your Twitter with people making the same dumb music joke? Because they'll be like, "This is my top 10 like experimental hip hop albums," and then they'll put like rock albums on there as a joke, and it was funny like once, and then people have
I
been doing
have
it
not
over and
seen
over
this
again, and
joke.
it's not funny anymore.
I would have to agree. It definitely wouldn't be funny for like the third time, but the first time I saw that,
Yeah,
I probably would have had a good chuckle to
yeah,
it.
that cool because it's like, oh, my favorite. It was like kind of akin to like my favorite rap album, and then it's like Igor by Tyler the Creator, which isn't really a rap album, more like an R&B.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
it was kind of off of that, but then people just kind of kept doing it, and it was like it's not funny anymore.
I see. All right. Next up, we got fucking the new or not mugshot, fucking Jesus Christ. The new Mouth for War EP. Fucking that shit heavy. I'm putting it above Gex.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's just fucking nasty. My biggest complaints and why it stays out of A and S tier is that I can't hear what the fuck the dude is saying. Like his voice is so
mm.
goddamn. Oh, I didn't even start my timer, but whatever. His voice is so goddamn buried, and I can't
Mm.
stand that in an album. Like I
Mm.
know it's the style, I know it's the kind of band they are, but like I just
No, I get that.
it could have been even better than how good it is.
Mm.
That's my one complaint and why it stays in B tier.
Cool.
Which again, B tier is good. I'm gonna keep fucking stressing that.
The B and B tier stands for bad. Don't listen to them. Get mad.
Yep, yep. Yeah, actually, you're correct. You're correct. Also,
um,
again, a little bit biased because we played with Mouth for War and that was an insane set. But yeah.
cool.
Yo,
Uh,
Shrimp, what up?
so I put this one on my honorable mentions list just because in terms of mainstream music,
Oh man,
this
Kyle's
was
a teenager.
yeah, this album is really good. As someone who thought that her last album was kind of okay, I really enjoyed this one. It was fun, it was charming, and it had that, as you said, teenager spirit. It felt
Yeah,
like, and that's what I appreciated with a lot of her music, even like her last album, even though I wasn't huge on it, is that she wasn't trying to like be mature as a teenager. She's like, hey, I got teenager problems, and here they are. And if it's stupid, then
totally
just don't
fair.
listen. Yeah, and yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because I think it's probably my mainstream album of the year. So yeah.
Fair. Fair. I unfortunately did not listen to that one. Her music has seemed like something that I just know I won't be able to get into
Hmm.
because it just doesn't talk about anything I care about.
Yeah, there's some fun
But
lines in
like
there.
again, for who it's for, good music.
Yeah. Well, that's the
All
thing.
right.
I'm not relating personally to it, but I'm understanding.
Yeah.
It's like I can understand. It's like, yeah, teenager problems. I remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Next up, fucking Granite State finally put out a goddamn EP. Hold on, let me see. Let me see here real quick. I want to look through the fucking discography. They actually put out two things. I didn't listen to The Mountain yet, but yeah, Granite State, after 5 years of just putting out singles and demos, Granite State have finally put out a fully fledged EP. And I'm gonna say it, boys, well worth the wait. Hope they see this clip. It's very good. I'm putting it above the Mouth for War one. They did a very cool, like, conceptual, very, very vibey, just heavy ass metal album. It rocks. Cut Off from the Sun rocks. I do need to listen to their little doomy song, The Mountain, but it's probably not gonna be my thing. But yeah, Cut Off from the Sun, pretty good, pretty good.
Cool.
I also feel bad because like we're drilling through so many releases that I think I listened to once or twice right now.
Hmm.
So like I'm trying to grasp for things to say about like these albums and all that. I'm back on your
That's
stuff.
fair. All right. You must be like real far behind because like I've been off the Olivia Rodrigo thing for a while.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
my stream's just lagging a lot. I don't know.
I'm pretty far behind you because like when I switch it over, it takes forever for it to switch back over to me.
Gotcha.
Right.
Then if you can't see, I am on Genesis Owusu's album titled Struggler. So
Hmm.
I'm just gonna keep shouting out some more albums that I like this year, just because I have a lot more to talk about, and I saw that you still have a good bit. So I was just gonna, once you got to like 10, that's when I'd probably start going over my top 10.
Yo, totally
Um,
fair.
so and this one also I think that really like. It's like a uh, like punk album, dance punk. I think I've even like a couple months ago or something when you did a stream, you were like getting music recommendations. I played one of his songs from his last album, which I loved his last album, and you were into it. So I just wanted to pull this one up because I think that you would really like this album.
Okay,
Um,
that's going on the list.
yeah, I thought it was solid. I do think I liked his last album better though, just because it was a bit more diverse. This one's more focused into the punk, dance punk, post punk kind of vibes, whereas
Okay.
the other one got a bit. This one has some more soul moments, but
Five
and R&B
seconds.
moments, but the last one definitely like pulled and would go more into each direction. So yeah, cool. That's it.
You're real good at timing that.
It's the mass comm major in me.
Is that a writing credit? Is Pat Morrissey the one from what is he from? The Smiths?
Are you thinking of a? I don't know actually. Let me see. It doesn't. I'll have to Google him.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
All right. Fucking another band we played with.
That's not him.
Uh,
Sorry, I
what'd
looked
you
it
say?
up and it says he's an American politician serving as the 34th Attorney General of the West Virginia.
Oh,
don't
interesting.
don't think that's him.
I don't think that is the same Pat Morrissey. All right. Mugshot, Cold Will. I don't remember anything from this either. I think this is another one that I listened to once and did not listen to again. However, I ain't never heard a bad Mugshot song, so I'm putting them right there with Mouth for War. Um, Mugshot just fucking rip. They make heavy ass music. That's all I really have. I know damn well there was not an uninspired or bad song on that fucking record. I think I listened to it once and did not listen to it again, unfortunately. And I had a grand plan to make a playlist of all of the albums from this year that I listened to, and I didn't do it for my 2 16-hour car rides I had to do. Dude,
Nope.
I was so bummed, Nick, when they broke that string at the show because they were about to play fucking Good People or they were about to play their song Good People, and I was so ready to hear that and did not get to hear it because of that. But
I
back to Kyle.
slacked very hard on making playlists this year. The past.
I don't usually make playlists
Mhm.
for anything like that. But I was going to make like I think that's probably how I'm going to keep track of it this coming year
Mhm.
is every time I listen to an album in full, just add it to the playlist, and then
Yeah.
that way at the end of the year when I do my fucking pilgrimage to and from Maryland and New Jersey, I
Mhm.
can like just play that as I'm going through and I can like
Mhm.
hear all these albums again and have like a fresh mind on them all.
Yeah. Well, typically, because at this point I just started kind of using album of the year to keep track of my albums, but each year I've been trying to do like a favorite songs of insert year, and I did that for like
I
4 months
really
this
should
year.
do that at some point.
Yeah, I did it for like 4 months, maybe six tops, and then I just completely forgot to add anything else to it, which sucked because most of my favorite stuff came in the second half of this year, so I
Yeah.
missed out on a lot. But I'm just gonna talk about the Gorillaz album because
Hold
that's all that's
on.
up next for you.
Before you do, I must address what Nick has said, which these allegations are utterly true. Nick said that was also the show when I saw you come sprinting from outside and then two-step and then crowd kill when a song came on, and I almost shit myself laughing. Uh, we actually, let me find it real quick. We have live video footage of this, Nick. Not of everything of it, but where the fuck? Wait a minute. Oh my God. Kyle, have you kept up with Alpharad Gold the entire year?
I haven't not watched. I've been keeping up with what they've been doing, but I've not watched most of them. I would typically wait for
Okay.
a playlist that they would do, and
Let's
I'd.
just say they uploaded a video titled "The End,"
Hmm. I
and
saw that.
it's exactly the video you think it is.
All right, I'll have to watch it later. I saw it was premiering, and I was like, I'll watch it later, unless they're like deleting the channel or something. I don't know, but
Um, I don't think they are. Great bit though. Great bit. All right, chat. We have. I don't know if we have live evidence of you two stepping, but we have live evidence of me running up on this shit. So, to set the scene, we're loading out. Downswing is the band in this clip. My face is blocking it, but Downswing starts playing one of their songs from their 2017 EP, which I didn't think they were going to play. It's an old ass EP. But I heard this drum pattern from outside, and my ass sprinted in the venue after having just played a set and just loaded out all of our fucking gear into the trailer. Um, so here's the clip. Shout out Florida Hardcore for filming shows. Here I come. Fucking run right into people. So that's our clip of that, thankfully.
even when Paul's not in the band, he's in the band.
Yeah, I had to hit the mic grab. I was like, it's the only song by them I'm gonna know all night, which is mad unfortunate. Oh shit, I didn't go back to your stuff, Kyle.
That's all right. I got it up now. I was watching the video. So I'm just gonna talk about the Gorillaz album just because it's always up next for you.
Yes, sir.
And honestly, I was a little disappointed in it. Um,
Ooh, hot take.
I think there's some
Well,
solid songs on there. I think the Cracker Island song is phenomenal. And I
yes,
think that was one of the biggest problems for me is they started off the album cycle with what I would probably say is the best song on the album. Which to me then means that each subsequent time a song gets released, I go, that was good, but not as good as the last one. And then so on and so forth. Um,
that's very very fair.
Yeah, but there's
I
probably only like three songs maybe I'd go back to often on this one. So yeah, I don't think any of it's bad. I just don't think in terms of especially like with their discography, I don't think it hits the highs that they've hit before.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's no Plastic Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. On to my opinions on Cracker Island. My opinions are this is their best album. I'm gonna start timer. This is their best album
Whoa.
since Plastic Beach.
Whoa.
I would absolutely agree with Kyle that like it not as good as like some of their pre like hiatus break work, whatever you want to call that period. Like it's not as good as Plastic Beach. I don't like it as much as Demon Days. Um, but I do absolutely think that this is their best work since the hiatus. I think there's a lot of really good songs. It does, like you said, it definitely sucks that they put out Cracker Island first, and that's probably the best song on here.
Yeah.
I maybe like New Gold better, just off of like personal taste
Hmm.
stuff, but
Yeah.
I spun this continuously for a long time this year, and it's going in A tier for me.
Again, because it came out in
Again,
February and it was very slow the
God,
first 4 or 5 months.
yeah,
But
that
yeah,
it was, that
and
it
I
was.
I I also probably like the shoot, what's the 2020 album more? The oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Uh,
Oh, Song Machine.
Song Machine. Yes, thank you.
No, that's understandable. That's very
I
understand. I
yeah.
forget, dude. I always forget about Song Machine
Mm.
because it was so just. It wasn't like a normal Gorillaz album.
It was
Which,
almost
to
like
be
a
fair, it
compilation.
was. Yeah, it was
Be-
more of a like a compilation of songs.
yeah, because at that point they probably already had like 6 to 8 songs released as singles before they even announced the album.
Yeah,
And I
which I
think that
thought
was
they were just going
unique.
to be doing like weekly episode or like monthly episodes like
Yeah.
that and stuff. And I was like, this
Mhm.
is sick. But I always forget that it's an actual album.
Yeah, and as somebody who typically likes albums to feel more full and complete and doesn't want to hear most of it before it came out, I think for that, what they did with that gimmick, I think it worked. The whole
Yeah,
song
that.
machine, and if you, it's less album feeling, more compilation feeling. I think it's great.
Yeah, no, that shit rocked. I
Mm,
loved Sound. I always forget about it because of that reason, but I loved Sound Machine.
yeah,
Dude, I gotta run and pee real quick.
go
Chat, do you
ahead.
mind if we take a quick pee break?
I'll talk about other things while you wait, or if you just
All
want
right,
to play
fuck it.
something,
I'll
you
leave
can.
it up. Floor is yours, Kyle. Have fun.
All right. Do let's talk about some non 2020 albums. That I also 2024 albums. Let's talk about the Kiro Kiro Bonito album. Maybe I should wait for Paul for this because I think he might have listened to it. Uh, but also there's this like person's knee who's burning up in this advertisement. It's making me very uncomfortable, especially because like never mind. But yeah, so the Kira Kira Bonito album was really fun. I've never really got into them this year. Oh, I should talk about iCup. Sorry, I'm reading my chat now. Sorry, Paul listeners. Um, I'll talk about iCup after I talk about this album if Paul's not back by then. But yeah, no, I mean this album is kind of everything that like I look for in a lot of music. Noise pop is probably the best way to put it, even though it's probably more like indie pop, indie rock. Uh, but there's some really cool, interesting noise moments, which I love a lot. I think the song "Sometimes" is really sweet, it's really fun. That's probably one of my favorites. And yeah, I think this was probably one of my favorite finds that were not from this year that I found this year. Even her older discography I thought was really great. And that's it. But if you didn't know, what's this? It's iCup. Uh, so yeah, I made. If you like noisy music, and I don't mean like metal music, I mean like actual noise music. Honestly, it's not even noise music really though. There's definitely noisier stuff out there as I've learned more recently. But and it really does a lot of things. But this is kind of a side project I worked on this year because I didn't want to keep writing the indie rock stuff I was doing, and it was just kind of my way to experiment with different sounds and different ideas. I mean, just this like Leftical is a electronic song I wrote using a sample that I got from a YouTuber I watch where he talks about how he dropped his phone on his testicle and bruised it. Um, Dancy Kong's like an electric pop song. Same with that one with like some I don't know if EDM is the right word, but the wow, I don't know. Happy is just a generic sounding pop song that was fun. Twitter is like a hyper pop industrial song. Don't even know how to describe Get Weird. But yeah, so I did this and I released a song at the end of each month, which was kind of my thing to kind of help myself create. So that's just like a ambient instrumental thing. This one I also have no idea how to describe. Um, it is yeah. If you like listening to weird different music, and again, most of these are pretty short songs. Check it out. You might not like it, but you might go, "Hey, he tried something." You know, Rest again, like I don't even know how to describe half of these. It's just me. This is like a mumble rap, but like in a weird time signature. Yeah, it's art. You wouldn't get it. Reading my chat again. Art is cool too. Wait, art for which one? Any of them? Pretty Colors is its own genre. Nothing else is that similar. Yes. Catholic Guilt is a sad song. And then this Fart, which is 10 minutes and 20 seconds, and was basically just my excuse to staple 3 songs together. So yeah, I don't know what to do now. I thought Paul would be back by now. Maybe he's pooping. Who knows? But yeah, so if you want to check it out, I guess I can promote my other music. I don't know when I'll release more of it. Not Stanley Core, just the regular Stanley Banley.
Alright, I'm back.
You're back. All right, cool. I can stop promoting my own music. And I also talked about Kiro Kiro Bonito.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because I got
Did
really...
Kero Kero make... Did they put out an album this year?
No, I just kind of want to talk. It was my first time listening to it this year, so... And I really liked it, so... I listened to her EP that she released last year or 2 years ago. Like it was like a Castle something. I don't know what it was.
Castle.
Maybe it wasn't Castle something.
What was
Civilization.
I think it was Cry a Lot.
And I listened to that too. Yeah, her solo
Yeah.
Cry a Lot thing, and then Kiro Kiro released in I think in 2021 or in 2022, like a Civilization.
Yeah,
1 and 2
I
EP.
really liked Cry a Lot. Shit rocked.
Yeah.
All right, fucking. Is it me?
Yes, you.
All right.
I think it's you now. I talked.
Blind
for a while.
Equation. Death Awaits. Fucking madness. This shit. I'm putting it in B tier.
Is this that Nintendo
This is a-
Cybergrind thing?
Yeah. So we played with Blind Equation. Some of the coolest dudes I have met. Album is good. Cybergrind, very understandably, probably not everybody's thing. But it scratches a very interesting little itch in my brain, and I think it's really good. I didn't enjoy it more than the albums that I'm gonna put up here eventually and all that. But again, it's good. It's fun. I enjoyed it. It did everything I wanted it to.
I'm just gonna use my turn to bounce off of what you said because I actually listened to this album or EP as well.
Oh, you also listened to Death Awaits?
Yeah, I think it was another case of I think I saw you and maybe some other people talking about it, and I said I'll listen to it. And yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. It wasn't something that I was super I'm into, but it was really fun. It was really cool, and I do agree. It scratches that itch of it's music, but it's also video game music at the same time, where it's you might not always want to listen to video game music, but at the same time you're I want that vibe. I don't know if this is making any sense, but it's
yeah.
It's
I gotcha.
it's I'm listening to video game music, but I'm not, So it's really cool. It's a fun listen for sure.
Yeah. Should I go back to me then?
Yeah, go back to you. You didn't have to switch over to me for that one, but
all right. New Polaris. B. That's a metalcore album. That's kind of all I have to say about it. Polaris is not a band that I'm super interested or invested in, but they make good songs.
Fair.
I've never heard a bad sounding Polaris song. I didn't pay that much attention. I just listened to it for the first time on the drive up to Maryland. So I didn't really have a whole lot of time to sit and gel with this. If I listened to this again, it probably would move up. They write great music. But yeah, I didn't listen to it a whole lot. But what was there I liked. I didn't mind it.
Cool.
Yeah. Over to the Kyle.
All right. Sorry, I'm going to be a little depressing on this one, but at the same time, I think it's worthy talking about. But if you see here, ranked at number 4, there is this EP called Black Market Cart, Today I Laid Down. And essentially...
Wait, is this your list?
This is just something I wanted to talk. It's not a top 10 list yet. It's just albums I really like.
Oh, so we're not on your list yet.
Yeah, no.
Okay, cool.
I was going to wait till you got closer to top 10.
Also, wait, no,
Whoops.
no fucking way Scaring the Hose came out this year.
It did, yeah. Wow. That came out around the same time 100 Gex did, I think, too. I almost asked, I thought you listened to that.
What? Dude, what? Yeah, I loved that album. I just thought it came out last year.
No, that came out in March, man.
Adjusting the tier list real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I almost said something, but I was like maybe he didn't listen to the whole thing and he just listened to like some singles or
No, I
something.
did. I loved it. I just, again, I thought it came out last year. Oh,
Cool.
dude, this is why I like doing this, because I
Yeah,
remember about albums.
yeah, and
Oh, I accidentally saved it to my video games folder.
uh,
It was very, very unfortunate. But it's in there now.
um,
Oh, wrong.
but yeah,
There we go.
so I'll try and make this quick. But there's a YouTuber I follow named Brad Tayson Music who will live react to music, and this album was submitted to him by the person that made it, who was just like some 17-year-old kid, and Brad Tayson Music was like, "This is really cool. I might like make a separate video on this." And then he never got around to it for a while, and then turns out, was it like late October or something? Apparently, the kid that made this album uh, unalived himself. To which then Brad
Mm.
Tayson Music kind of made a separate video just talking about it and was like, I want to make sure people hear this because it's very good. And on this thing now, album of the year, which a lot of people use, it is rated number 4 of best albums from 2023 with an 85 and 2040 ratings,
Hmm.
which I just think is really cool and special that that got to happen in such unfortunate and awful situation. So yeah, just wanted to talk about it.
I'm putting that on my list.
Yeah, it. I will say, it's something that you talked about earlier is the vocals in it. And granted, it's a 17-year-old kid that made it. The vocals are very buried in the rest of the instrumentals, but outside of that, it's actually produced phenomenally well. It sounds really good.
I mean, that's totally fair. Sometimes that style can work, but there's certain
Mm.
things that I'm like, I want to hear the damn
Oh
vocals.
yeah, and again, like
Like, I
out.
wanted to hear what they were saying in the Mouth for War album.
Mm,
I wanted to hear what the fuck Tyler was saying in Cherry Bomb. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's just
Mm,
sometimes where it works against it.
mm.
Based on like the tags I saw, I feel like that's something that could work in favor of this album.
It does sometimes, I will say. And again, outside of that, like the instrumentation, the structure of everything, even the rest of the production, like is
Yeah,
mixed better than I can do.
fair.
It's phenomenal. Like he did a great job
Nice.
for just I think just being just him. Maybe I'm not sure,
Yeah, and
but
that's
yeah,
totally fair because vocals I feel like are the hardest part of
yeah, and
mixing.
especially like
But
like no one wants their vocals to be too loud, and that's the thing most people are self conscious about, you know. So
yeah, yeah, shrimp. I do have bowling alley ass carpet. The fuck it is. What, what about it? All right. Next one for me is Unity's Virality. This is another fucking A tier. I spun this for it's another one that like it came out around a whole bunch of shit that I wanted to listen to. I want to say it was like this, Noisy and Joey Valence and Bray all came out on like the same fucking day. Uh, that shit heavy, that shit good. I love new metal, and I think that's the only way I can actually describe that one. So, yep, Virality, good album, A tier. That's what I got.
What should I talk about now?
You're just looking up more albums because I could
Yeah.
just keep going if you want.
Actually, I'm gonna talk about this one real quick. Bada
All right.
boom. I'm not sure how far behind. I'm not gonna grab it. I don't want to take my headphones off. But I just want to talk about the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack
Ooh,
because
all right.
that soundtrack was so good. I bought it as a record. You could see it if I can point
Oh
correctly.
shit.
Right there, right next to the 100 Geck record.
Oh,
Those are my.
I see it.
I didn't buy a lot of records that came out this year as much as I wanted to, so those are the 6. Um, but I mean, this soundtrack is amazing. I don't buy soundtracks super often on vinyl, but this one I was like, I need to get. It's really good, and the movie's really good, and that's kind of just what I wanted to say. If you haven't seen the movie,
Yeah.
watch the movie and listen to the soundtrack too, because it's phenomenal.
Yeah. It's on Netflix now.
It is on Netflix now. Yeah, so
I
you
was
don't have an
I was
excuse.
watching it at work the other day.
Best place
Dude,
to
I don't
watch
want
it.
to go back to work tomorrow. Oh, motherfucking Noisy. Fast forward to Friday. Oh, wait, hold on. Noisy's album, Fast Forward to Friday, Volume 1. Hmm. I think this is going to be my new Get Out of B tier album. Because I like this better than the Spirit Box one, but I just don't think there's enough there for me to be like A tier. Absolutely. Um, This is just like a fun little like I guess dance album kinda. It wasn't what I expected from them, but I really liked what they did. It was a lot more of like an electronic album. Some of their previous efforts have been like more rapping based, but I don't
Mm.
know if that's because it's actually a producer and not just like a like boy band rap thing. But it's a fun little like thing from the UK. I liked it a lot. I spun it a lot. Um, yeah,
Cool.
that's all I got from it. It's good.
I'm gonna go ahead and shout out this Paris, Texas album, um, which
Mm.
is like, yeah, as it says, they're kind of experimental hip hoppy. It's definitely got some like rock vibes in there with the instrumentation. And I'm mainly shouting it out because I didn't love the record, but I thought there were some really interesting moments in there. And I think this could be an artist that could definitely make something really interesting in the future. There were some songs in there that I really enjoyed, and then there were some that I were just not starters for me, or just something I was like, yeah, it's all right. But with the ones that really stuck out to me, I was like, if they lean in this direction in the future, they could make like a really unique, experimental rap album. So yeah,
Nice. I forgot to do the timer for that one, but that was definitely good.
that was 10 minutes.
Yeah. Paul, I expect a GTA 6 stream in 2025. It'll probably happen if the game actually comes out in 2025. Listen, they can put that release date on that trailer all they want. That's not a game in my hands. I'll believe it when I see it. That's what I have to say about GTA 6. That shit looks fun though. I'm excited, especially because Florida. All right. The album From Joy by the band From Joy. That shit nasty. That's kind of around the same territory of like Mugshot and Mouth for War, where like I listened to it, I went, "Holy fuck, that's disgusting," and then I didn't listen to it again. However, uh, some of the most batshit insane stuff that I have ever fucking heard is on that record. Like genuinely fucking wild. Uh, it's like just metalcore, like metal shit. I forgot the fucking timer again. All right, going over to you.
All right. Yeah. I feel like we don't need a timer for some of these that we don't have much to talk about. But
Yeah.
this was I made a mistake. It wasn't Ada Rook's solo project. It was another of her projects, Crisis Sigil, that made the album God
Mm.
Come Poltergeist. Uh, and yeah, it's like grindcore industrial metal. And the best way to describe it is this little comment I put here saying providing the best kind of headaches because it
All
is
right,
loud
that
and
one's
it
going
is
on there.
intense and it's fun. Yeah. So
Yep,
cool.
that one's adding to the list. Excellent. As soon as you said industrial metal and like I saw mathcore in the tags, I'm just like, all
Yeah.
right, we're going with that.
I don't remember a lot of it, but I don't remember. I'm not sure if I agree with the mathcore tag. I will say maybe I'm misremembering, or maybe I'm not super familiar with mathcore though. So I could be
Maybe
wrong. Yeah,
Alice
but
Cowboys is technically mathcore.
yeah, and people are typically pretty good with the tags on this website. I feel at least. So
Well, that's
I
good.
could just be wrong.
All right, gamers, I have news. We got our first S tier. It is an EP though. Better Lovers, God Made Me an Animal. Um, when this was announced, when they put out their first song, there was no way I wasn't gonna like this. Every Time I Die is one of my favorite bands of all time, and for the three remaining members of that band to join up with Will Putney of Fit for an Autopsy and Greg Puciato from Dillinger Escape Plan to make a band together, yeah, I was gonna fucking love it. It's just as good. It's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. It's Every Time I Die instrumentals with Greg singing and screaming over it.
Your S tier is blocked by your camera.
No. Hold on, I gotta scroll back up. Yeah, there it is. Hold on.
There
God
we go.
made me an animal. What's the song called? Sacrificial Participant. That's the good song. Really good song. I feel like both this and Many Eyes' single that came out this year kind of went back and forth. Many Eyes is the new band of the old vocalist of Every Time I Die, and there was definitely some like weird beef surrounding the breakup of that band, which killed me. But yeah, seems like things might be all right now. They're both making like their own music and stuff, and both of the projects are really fucking good. Um,
Whoops.
so
Oh.
yeah, very very happy about the Better Lovers EP. Can't wait to hear more. Over to
Cool.
Kyle.
Oopsies, getting an advertisement. I'm gonna shout out the Skrillex record because I
Oh,
thought it was funny that they released this album, which I thought was really good and really great. Really solid. I haven't listened to it in a while. I've actually was meaning to go back and listen to it because it's been probably since February, March. But they released this album and they said, "Hey, guess what? We got another album coming tomorrow, February 18th." And then that album released, and everyone hated it.
oh, interesting.
But people liked this one, so it's fine. Uh,
I was gonna say I saw like some of the dudes from Pulses saying they listened to this a bunch.
yeah, that one's real solid, and it's got some. I think the song's called Xena in particular is probably my favorite. Is that right?
Hmm.
Yes, that song is great.
I'm looking that up. Can't believe I'm looking up Skrillex in the year of our Lord 2023, but here we fucking are.
Yeah.
Anything's possible, baby. All right, next up, fucking a minute is nowhere near enough time to describe how much I fucking love this EP, but God Smiles Upon the Calloused Cowboys, that is, oh my fucking God. I didn't think they could do it. I didn't I'll say it. I didn't think they would do it back to back. I didn't think they would make two of the greatest things I have ever fucking heard back to back. But holy shit, they did. This album is literal insanity. You have Pink Envelope, which is like the most regular Callous Cowboys song on here. You've got Waco Jesus, which is Ford Truck Month fucking national anthem. Like it's literally on a Ford truck commercial. Because it's like their most accessible song they've made. And then Designer Shroud of Turin featuring Pulses, which is batshit fucking insane. It is the wildest, one of their wildest song ever. It's so good. Like everything about this EP is good. If you got 18 minutes, go and listen to it. That's all I have to say.
Uh, just to speed things up a bit, I think I'm just gonna let you speed run through the rest because I could
All
keep
right.
pulling up some albums, but I just kind of want to get to the top 10 soon, especially because it's getting a little late. But I will say I did listen to the Callous Cowboys EP, and I'm going to be contradictory, and I think I like their last album better. This one just didn't hit as much for me. But
That is fair. I mean, Celebrity Therapist was my album of the year last
mm,
year. Spoiler alert: this one is not. This one's probably my EP of the year, but there's not enough to chew on for me to
mm.
be like, oh, it's better than my album of the year pick. You know?
Also, nitpick, I hate how they released the EP. They're like, we're releasing an EP. Here's the first single. Here's the second single. Here's the third song, which is the last of the EP, so it's just another single. And I'm like, well, that's just
Yeah,
releasing three
it's
songs in a row. And that kind of bothers me. I'm like, if you're gonna do a 3 song EP, just release one and then release the rest of the EP. Don't just give me three singles
yeah
and call it an EP. But that's just
that
me being nitpicky and weird.
no that it definitely was weird, and I have a feeling. So I listened to him. Carson, the singer, has a podcast where he dissects a Fallout Boy song every week
Mm,
with his buddy Dawson. Um, and based on things said in that, I think that was probably their label's decision.
okay.
Because Carson himself has said, I fucking hate it when bands release the first track of whatever they're doing as a single, like first or last track, and I
Mm,
agree with that heavily. But if the record label's like, hey, we need two singles for this EP,
yeah.
it's 3 song EP. It's gonna happen no matter
Mm,
what. So that might have been their label kind of meddling with
yeah.
things, but yeah, it was very weird how they released it.
I will say I'm okay with the first song of an album being the single
No,
because for me, I'd rather prefer going into the album hearing what I already know first, and then getting the new stuff versus going into an album hearing 3 songs and then just hearing all the singles that I already heard. Because then it's like, why
I
finish? I already heard these. You know what I mean? So to me, I'd
I
rather hear the stuff at the
heavily
beginning.
disagree because I think an album opener should be something very, very special, and I don't think you can make a good single that is also an album opener.
Jumpsuit.
I mean, I say this, but also like Tattletale is our most popular song. It was the third single off the album. I guess technically the opener, but like we have an intro, but I don't know. Like, um, what am I thinking? Like I would never put out While You Were Out as a single. It would never happen. But all right,
Okay.
keeping it going.
Yeah, I'll just let you speed run through these.
Pulses, huh?
I said I'll just let you speed run through these.
Yeah. Let me do that real quick. Pulses. It wasn't supposed to be like this. That is another S tier album. Really goddamn good. I hope the boys see this clip because this is their best work. No Business played our first show ever in 2017 with Pulses, and back then they were doing like a DGD, very like Dance Gavin Dance inspired thing. But yeah, this is their best album for sure, and I think it's entirely because they've ditched the whole Swancore thing at this point and are just making post-hardcore music, and they're doing whatever the hell they want. Like, there's like a very like hip hop and rap inspired song. The title tracks are very. I can't describe how much I love this album. This album is just fun. Like this was probably my most just like all over the place, most interesting, probably like the most unique album of the year because I don't think any of these other bands really could have released an album like this, where it's like half the songs are like kind of regular post-hardcore tracks that you'd expect, and then the other half are just like, well, what if we made a hip-hop track? What if we made an emo track? What if we made a fucking ska track?
You say
Like-
that, but you just haven't heard Lil Yachty's new album yet.
It's right here.
No, I mean his
Or is
new
there
album
another
after
one?
this, where he makes a
Oh,
ska
okay.
album that's emo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
I hope it is.
for sure what's coming next.
Lost Trees, Luminescent. I feel like Johnny will get mad at me if I don't put this higher. However, I'm gonna stick with honesty. I listened to it once and don't remember anything from it.
Ooh.
I know the singles were good. They make very good music. However, I'm also gonna say that unfortunately, the era style metalcore, kind of like I was saying with Spirit Box, like it's not my thing. I love these guys. They're doing a great job with doing what they're doing. Their new song, I like a lot. They did like a more issues kind of inspired thing, and that would have probably been higher on my list. But this was not like a style that I really vibe with. But again, these are some of my best friends. They make great music. If you enjoy the era style stuff, this definitely is for you. But I also listened to it once when it came out, and then forgot about it until recently. New Lil Yachty album. I'm deciding whether this is the new B tier Gatekeeper or if this is like low A tier, but it's one of those two.
Either way, it's gatekeeping B tier.
I'm gonna make it the new B tier Gatekeeper. I liked this a lot, and I actually enjoyed a lot of Lil Yachty's early stuff, like the Lil Boat tapes. But this was just so weird and off the wall from him, where he just kind of made like this very weird, hazy sounding. I don't even know what you would call this, because I'm not a genre snob. But it was a very, I guess it would be like an alternative or like an indie album almost.
It's a
but
psychedelic something.
yeah, it's like a psych album pretty much.
Yeah.
It's really good though. Like
It's
there's really
cool.
catchy tracks on it. Like I was not expecting that out of him, and it's really good.
Mhm.
Johnny Booth, Moments Elsewhere. My fucking god, dude. Incredible album, incredible rollout leading to it. Has this incredible, just like very thematic feeling thing going on through it, as well as like probably like same thing with these three albums together. Very diverse tracks. Like you've got some absolute fucking ass beaters like The Ladder, 2040, but then you also have these like slower songs like Mirror and Only by Name, I think is the one I'm thinking of. It's something about a name. But yeah, incredibly good album. Really good. It's everything I wanted from them, and I'd been like waiting for this since I first heard. I think it was Rebuttal came on my like Spotify mix. I've been waiting on a fucking album from them like this. Really good. Gideon, More Power, More Pain. That's not making it out of B tier, unfortunately. But
Ooh.
I will say, really good album. I think it's probably Gideon's best album.
But not enough power.
Not enough power, not enough pain. You know.
Yeah.
again, I really, really liked it. It's a really good album. I think the thing that pushes it above all of the other Gideon albums is they had this very cool like interview track thing that's going throughout it of like I don't even know. I guess it sounds like just an interview with like a depressed cowboy, and it's such a cool way to tie all of the tracks together.
Cool.
I also like kind of forgot this album came out this year, but like really good. I'm very glad I got to see. The other problem is I saw them right before this album came out, so I didn't even get to see them play anything except for like 2 tracks from it live. Oliver Tree. That's my only D tier album this year, I think.
Ooh.
Forgettable.
Yeah, I think that's why I didn't listen to it because I think I heard people just say it wasn't good. This year was like weird. Like typically I would listen to the stuff that like people were saying wasn't good just so I could, but this year I just like wasn't feeling it. I'm like, if everyone else saying it's bad and I don't think I'm gonna like it, I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah.
Like I didn't listen to any of Drake's albums that he released. I'm like, I can't do
You
it.
know what? I'm adjusting this. I'm putting Johnny up there. I was a little harsh with that because I'm like looking at some of this
I
other
agree.
stuff in here. Yeah,
As someone who hasn't
I was a
listened to
little
that,
harsh with that.
but you were like, I listened to it once and they make cool music. C tier. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was definitely harsh because like I probably enjoyed that like more than Polaris.
Did I listen to that
Like
Polaris
probably
album?
liked it a little more than Death Awaits because that's a very very specific thing that I'm looking for. Like yeah, I enjoyed it. I just forgot about it. Periphery 5. I'm putting that in C tier.
Let's go.
I I don't even know if I listened to the entire album for this. It's fucking Periphery. I know what I'm getting into. However, uh, their song Silhouette, I think, might be their best song. And I think they should just stop writing gent or whatever progressive metal you want to call it. And I think they should just do whatever the fuck that is. Because that shit's sick as fuck.
I thought you were gonna say stop writing music and just keep playing that song
No, no,
forever.
no, 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 no. I love a lot of Periphery's like heavy progressive stuff that they did. I just, again, no.
Uh-oh.
No. Oh, thank fuck.
Whew. We must have to start over.
I know. Holy shit, dude. Yeah. I'm burnt out on their progressive stuff. They should do more just like poppy electronic stuff.
Fair. Yeah.
I don't know.
I haven't listened to much of their older stuff, but yeah, I thought it felt more run of the mill than I would have anticipated from Periphery.
Yeah, it was all right.
Mhm.
Which is how I feel about this album too. Post Malone's Austin. It's all right. There's some good singles. Yeah, it kind of it was forgettable, kind of in the same like vein, but I liked it compared to Oliver Tree, which I think I tried to listen to and turned off maybe.
I also
I
listened
can't
to the
remember.
Post Malone album, but I forgot that I did.
Yeah, it was good. It was a
Yes.
very interesting turn for him to take,
Mm-hmm.
making like a more just like acoustic album, and I liked that about it. But it wasn't anything that blew me away.
I like it when he plays with Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
It's a banger song.
God's Eyes, Progress, Regress. Really good album. Another like Every Time I Die kind of sounding band from I think they're from Long Island. We played with them earlier this year. That might have been one of the best live sets I've ever seen. That band fucking rocks live. Like they bring the exact kind of like Every Time I Die energy that you need to be playing this music. They're fucking flailing around, throwing their guitars around and shit. Fucking awesome, dude. Like really, really good album. Incredible live performance. Punk Tactics, Joey Valance, and Bray. That's going right into the A tier, baby. These are the dudes you probably know because of TikTok with the like Punk Tactics song. But their whole album is really good. I swear, I like it a lot. They make a lot of anime references and shit. Yeah. Dead Inside season 3. Putting that right there with the Lost Trees. This is actually why I adjusted it because I was like, I'm gonna put this in B tier, and there's no way I can justify not putting these both in the same place. Another friend of mine, Brandon, who I did the podcast interview for No Business with. It's his
Oh, I
little
remember
like
that.
new metal project. If you're listening, bud, don't hate me for what I'm about to say. I liked it. However, I think like there was something about it that just like didn't like push me over the edge, except for there was like one track, and let me see here. See if I can find this fucking track real quick. Not that one. We want season 3. Where the fuck is season 3? There it is. Is it We Don't Own Our Faces? Yeah. Yeah. We Don't Own Our Faces. That shit fucking rips. Um, the rest of it was kind of like, yeah, it's your standard political new metal fare. A lot of good stuff in there. I think that's all I have to say. Nothing like really pushed me over the edge with it, but it's good other than We Don't Own Our Faces. Really enjoyed that one. That was such a weird, weird track, and I loved that shit. Sleep Tokens,
Sleep
take me
Token.
back to Eden. I'm putting it in B tier. Fucking, I didn't really.
Say it,
I
Paul.
almost
Say
would have.
it, Paul.
Okay,
Say it was
listen,
mid.
I'm putting it in C tier. However, I understand that this is entirely because of the hype surrounding this album. This album was talked about for like 4 months fucking straight at the beginning of this year. I could not go fucking anywhere, probably because Hayden is my best friend, but I couldn't go fucking anywhere without hearing about this damn Sleep Token album.
Put me to
I
sleep.
finally listened. Huh?
Sorry, I said put me to sleep.
I finally listened to it, and it was all right. Like that's all I have to say about it. It was okay.
Yeah, I did not get the hype one. I'm gonna butt in here just because I listened to this one. And I feel very strongly about it because of how much people were hyping it up. I didn't get the hype at all. The first, I on my comments here, I said the first couple songs I thought seemed fairly interesting, and then it got to like that boring like metal quote unquote that's just like has trap hi hats and is really just pop music, and I thought it became very boring and uninteresting.
Oh, interesting.
Sorry, that's a little
Because
harsh take for me, but that's just how I feel.
yeah. I don't give a fuck about the heavy bits. I think that's my thing with it. Is like the heavy bits in this. I'm just like, yeah, we've heard this shit before. Fucking, we've all heard Loathe. We've heard Spirit Box. We've heard this kind of fucking metalcore before. It's interesting when they do their different shit, but there's not enough of that for me to really enjoy it. The atmosphere is the best part. That's fair. That's fair. This is a very atmospheric, and again, I love concept albums. I like that they stuck with that and like did that. I liked Aqua Regia a lot. Liked that a lot. But that's probably the only song that I could pick out that I liked. Fall Out Boy, So Much for Stardust. Um Dude, I don't fucking know on this one. I'm struggling between S and A cuz like I'm going to leave it in A for right now.
I agree.
Cuz there's just something about it that I'm just like, I don't love this as much as the other ones. But at the same time, I look at it and I'm like, I love every song on this album. So I just don't know why I can't like push it over. Hayden pops in the second you say my best friend's Hayden. He was summoned. Fall Out Boy S. So put it in S. Currently waiting on your opinion. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah. Fall Out Boy in the S tier. Or in the A tier.
I think A is fine.
I don't know though, dude. I love every song on this album.
But I don't think you love it. I don't think you would say that most of those songs, if all of those songs, would be anywhere near as good as any of their old stuff that you actually loved. I think it's just that they went to a return to form that was really good compared to their last several albums, but still doesn't reach the potential of their old stuff.
I think there are several songs on this
Really?
album that stand in line with their old stuff. I
Okay.
absolutely, and like I've gone back and re-listened to this a bunch of times to be like, was I just hyped? And every single time, like I genuinely think, Love from the Other Side, Heaven, Iowa, I Am My Own Muse, and the title track all stand the test, or like they stand in line with the pre-hiatus stuff, and that is better than like 4 songs out of what 13 or something. That's so much better than we've gotten in the past with their post-hiatus stuff. But I think there are 4 like genuinely good, like Fall Out Boy level good songs on this, and then 8 or so other good songs that I like would not classify as high as the other Fall Out Boy stuff.
I say put it in D
I
tier for the
definitely
sole
didn't
fact
like
that
it as much as any of. I maybe liked. You know what? I maybe liked it as much as.
oh,
I think Better Lovers needs to come down, and then I can be okay with that.
I think you need
Yeah,
to put it in
yeah.
D tier for the sole purpose that we did that 2 hour stream for it, and then I edited that stream, and then accidentally deleted the whole video editing file and lost all
I
my work.
forgot about
Yeah,
that.
I like spent like 2 hours
Oof.
like just like listening through, and like I chopped out like all like the silent moments and like the moments where like we took a break or something, and I was like, great.
Yeah.
And I was like, your computer's full. I was like, oh, let me delete stuff, and then I accidentally deleted the project file itself, and
Oh.
I'm like, screw this, dude. I'm like, it's just not going up on the YouTube. I'm not doing that again. But you know, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a really good album.
Mm,
Again, I gotta kind of move Better Lovers down if I'm gonna put that there.
mm.
Nah, you know what? I'm moving them both up because I like them both better than Cracker Island.
Yeah.
I like them both better than these albums. This is probably like front runner in that category.
Hey.
Snitch. This is obviously my own fucking album. Um, Realistically, I think it probably sits in either A or like high B. It's definitely an A because I
Put
liked
it
it
in A
better than the
tier.
Little Yachty album. Great band, frontman's hot. Thanks, KR. I think from my like own personal taste and as a listener, I think it's in my A tier. Like obviously, it's very very catered to what I like. I wrote the damn thing. It is everything I would have wanted an album to be, but like I think it's good. I think it's a very very good starting base for like this chapter of No Business.
Also, I would just like to say one thing similar into regards of it's catered to your taste is because I see a lot of people each year posting on like social media around the time like their Spotify Wraps come out, being like, "Oh, I'm on my own Spotify Wrapped. Oh no!" Or like I have like some friends that like said stuff like similar to that, and it's like, of course you are. Why would you write music you don't want to listen to? I'm like,
Yeah.
that's just how I feel at least. I'm like, you shouldn't be embarrassed. That's just you listening to like, why would you make a song and then be like, I don't want to listen to it? It's like, why'd you write it then if you don't like to? Like, I always go back to what Childish Gambino said, Don Glover in an interview, where like he was talking about how he's like listening to one of his songs in his car, and his friend went in. It's like, why are you listening to your own song? It's like if you like were a chef, would you not make yourself a sandwich because that's considered vain to listen to your own or to eat your own sandwich? It's like no, it's like I make a song that I think is good. I'm gonna listen to it. I make a sandwich that I think is good. I'm gonna eat it. You don't get considered vain for eating your own sandwich. So that's always kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say
Hayden
that
said Snitch
because
is my album of the year next to Take Me Back to Eden. I appreciate that, especially because I know how much you love that album. But yeah, I think I did good here. I think I can't wait to do more music that's more recent. Because again, two of these songs, specifically Tattletale and Basilisk, were written in 2016 and are largely unchanged.
hey,
Yeah.
right.
One of the old quote unquote songs from the next EP that I'm bringing back straight up
Mhm.
is younger than those two songs.
You should use your old vocals for it too.
What? No.
No.
Actually, the vocals on that aren't bad, but also we changed a lot of stuff about the song. But yeah.
Do you want me to go now, or do you want
I-
to start the top 10?
Oh, we're doing top tens now.
Well, I was
Or,
just gonna
well,
talk about.
You're doing yours.
I was gonna
yeah,
do my
let's
top
go back
10.
to Kyle.
Yeah.
I've talked for way fucking long enough. Let's go back to
Okay.
you.
Cool. So I'm gonna do my. He's still ranking all his, but I'm just gonna go through and say what my top 10 are, starting at number 10. And also, I want to say this year was hard because there was a lot of really good music, and a lot of these are loosely rated because of how much they change. And again, like even in my honorable mentions that I showed earlier, there were so many albums that I really wanted to put in here. But Caroline Polachek, Desire, I Want to Turn Into You. Synth pop, art pop, really fun. Got some really cool, what's the word? Features. That's what I'm looking for. Like on the song Fly to You, it has Grimes and Dido. And I just think this is one of the most creative and fun pop records of the year, if not the best pop record of the year. And I think people should listen to it, and I think it should be mainstream, but that's not what the world gives me, so
Yeah.
that's it.
I added that one to my
Number 10.
my list there.
Yeah, that's a banger one.
There's something about that album. I think it's like I'm just adding ones with cool album art that I look at the genres and I'm like, I'd listen to that.
No, that's fair. And I got that one up on my wall, right above Spider-Man.
Yeah. Dying Wish, Symptoms of Survival. This is a tough one for me to rank because I think it's going in the B. It's going right up there with Gideon. Easy S tier for me. That is totally fair. Kind of wish the old No Business tracks were still up. Maybe I'll re-upload them. I have to find the masters in order to do that, unfortunately. But I don't know. I think it's better that they're not there. I think they're not well done. They're poorly mixed, poorly
You could
mastered.
always just put
Like
like demos on the title of it so people kind of know, oh, hey, this is like early demos kind of thing.
actually, that wouldn't be a bad idea, Kyle. If
Yeah.
I can find those masters, yeah, if I can find those masters, I might do that where it's just no business, like,
Early
and I'll
demos.
just re-upload them all as like pre-snitch demos or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was I fucking saying? Oh, I was talking about Dying Wish. This album fucking rocks. Unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of like that style of like metalcore or hardcore or what you want to call it. Like, I was never a big Killswitch Engage fan, so it doesn't really like scratch that itch for me. But man, they did real good on this album. They've got like a lighter, like a very very emotional, like not as much like breakdowns and riffs and stuff, but like a very emotional track somewhere in the middle there that fucking rules. And like the vocals on this album are like fucking miles above anything they've done before. Really good album. Again, it doesn't scratch like that particular like itch for me. I'm also removing Snitch from when I put it on the when I download it and post it to Twitter. I'm not getting clowned on for putting my own album in there.
Fight them. Block them if they do.
But we all know it's an A tier album in our hearts.
We do.
Gideon's definitely a B tier upon later re-listens. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Again, like I'm happy to have it in B tier. It was good. There's good tracks on it, and I like the. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. All right, Kyle, your turn.
All right. So this will be my number 9 album of the year, and it's Colin Stenson's album "When We Were That What Wept for the Sea." And if you look over at the genres, it's post minimalism, drone totalism, which I wouldn't know how to describe. So what I'm going to tell you is, if you like saxophone, hear this album. They use it's really interesting how they use the saxophone because they'll it's not just like them playing, but they'll also use them pressing the keys as like percussive sounds. They'll use them just like breathing into it as like airy textures. And I love the artwork because to me, like, I hear this album and it just feels like you're like sitting on like a cloudy day, like hearing like the waves crash, or like sitting and like hearing the rain patter onto the roof or something. It's really relaxing. It's really interesting. I know there's some kind of overarching story about like a lighthouse or something in it. I don't really know the story. I haven't really followed along. Most of it's instrumental outside of a few, I think, spoken word passages or parts. But yeah, no, I was really blown away by this. It's not like a typical, you know, drum boom clap kind of rock, whatever. It's more like ambient, droney, I guess. But it's really interesting. It's really cool. And if you like the way saxophones sound, listen to it.
All right. Excellent. Ooh, we got Suicide in the City by Cauldron, baby. Putting that on. There we go. Suicide in the City by Cauldron. That's a quick A tier right there. Um, this band, I think I was just like shown as like a, hey, you want to hear some fucking heavy shit? And it was nasty and heavy and like super sick. Whereas this album, they've obviously got a lot of that on the album, but the closing track is kind of what like sells me on it. Their closing track is kind of like it's a very like typical rock closing track to like end with, where it's like a big like slow thing and then it like builds and all that. But I think it's really cool to hear that from a band that has that. It's just really nice that they have the dynamics to be able to do that as well as like their really really heavy stuff. Because I feel like a lot of bands that do the really heavy stuff don't ever want to dip their toes into doing anything lighter. Like they just want to write ass beaters all the time, which like is fine. People love those live, but I like dynamics in my albums, as you can see by like the top ones I've chosen. Ooh, I had my time on that one.
Cool.
Damn. All right, Kyle.
All right. So my next one is, and I think you might have heard this one potentially.
No, I
Sampha.
did not.
Oh, okay. I think I looked at like our blend playlist at some point. I thought I saw it say you listen to at least one of these songs, but maybe I'm wrong. But
Interesting.
this is Sampha Lahai. I don't know how to pronounce it. I am sorry. But it's an R&B album, and typically I'm not super into R&B, but this album is just undeniable. The vocal presence, the drums in it, all of the instrumentation in it, just really cool, really unique. And yeah, I mean, to me, the fact that like, I kind of listened to it and I was like, yeah, it's really good. And then I went back towards the end of the year and I was like, because there were so many people talking about it, I was like, I need to listen at least one more time. And I was like, yeah, no, this is undeniable. There's no way there's no way you can ignore just how good this is. So yeah, Sampha at number 8.
Nice. I threw it on the playlist.
Mm.
I think the reason it might have come up under my name is because I see that his most popular song on Spotify is his feature he has with Kendrick Lamar. So
That
that
could
might
be
have
it.
been why I got added in.
Gotcha.
But I'm gonna listen to that
You
because
probably really like
R&B
it.
fucking rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. Currents, The Death We Seek. That's another A tier album. Currents. I mean, you can see the fucking flag behind me. I love that band. Out of all of the like more progressive metalcore bands that are out there, I like the way that Currents does it best. Um, and this is without a doubt their best album they have ever made. Album is fucking incredible, super like emotional and like very heavy emotionally. I didn't start the timer, but yeah, Current's best album to date. Uh, that's all I really need to say about it. Very sick.
Cool. I actually listened to that album as well, and I don't remember much of it because it was probably when it came out originally, and I thought it was very solid though, according to what I have
Yeah,
on my little website here. So
I
that was
didn't
a
like
little.
how some of the vocals were quiet, but besides that, it's the best album they've made. I agree. That's fair, Chris.
Um, but yeah, number 7 is
Mitski.
the Mitski record. I love this record, and I was not expecting to. I haven't heard much of her old stuff. I listened to her album that she released either last year or 2021, and I thought it was pretty decent. Nothing that blew me away. But this album's so cool. I like the slight country twist it has to it. Very indie rock singer songwriter. Uh, which one was? I don't. I think it's The Deal. Dumb advertisements. I think the song "The Deal" might be my favorite. If that's the one I'm thinking of, that's the really cool drum part. Again, I just think the way it's produced and the way it's put together is very well. And yeah, I really like it. That's kind of
Yeah,
all I can say.
fair. I added that one as well because I've heard her name like tossed around a
Mm,
ton, but yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, this next one. I'm gonna remember my timer. Terminal by The Burden. That's another fucking A tier record, dude. Oh, I found out about this because of the vocalist of Dead Inside's podcast that he does, where he interviews bands. Yeah, No Business was on it and all that good stuff. If you like Under Oath, go listen to this. That's all I have to say. Like if you like Under Oath, go listen to this fucking record. It's so good. It is. It just feels like Define the Great Line Under Oath is back again, and I think that was what the vocalist said they were like kind of going for is like that's just what they like and what they wanted to make, and it's really really goddamn good. That's what I got.
All right.
Back to the Kyle.
There we go. All right. My number 6 album is the JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown album, "Scaring the Hose."
Yeah.
This album was awesome. This album was so very fun, experimental hip hop, so many really cool and interesting samples. Uh, Fentanyl Tester, I played so many times. The one with the milkshake sample, that's just it was so good. I was addicted to that song for the longest time, and I still kind of am. But I mean, all these songs have like such well, first off, very funny names, but also just
Yeah.
really interesting production, really fun and unique samples.
Jack Harlow combo meal.
Yeah.
Fucking, I love that they have one just titled "Run the Jewels."
Yeah. It's again, it's just Step a Pig. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
yeah. I'll go ahead and do
That
scaring the
one.
hose real quick. We'll skip ahead to that.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did it go? Oh, it didn't save
Uh,
because it. All right, hold on. We got it. We got it. We got it. Upload it again. All right. Well, I don't know where it went, but I loved scaring the hose. It. Fuck! I did it again, dude.
oh no. Tier list down.
Fuck off. God damn it. Can I? Hold on.
It's saying it down there if you see. Do you have to hit so like an upload button after
There we
you?
go. There we go. I had to switch it because it was going for the same file again. Yeah,
Uh,
scaring the hose. There we go. A tier album. That is just a fucking wacky ass, wild ass fucking album.
yeah.
Yeah, it's Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia doing exactly what you would expect Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia to do. Like you said it all already. The
Yeah.
titles are crazy. The fucking songs are insane. Like, yeah, that's all I got.
Cool. Is it back to me now then, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Oops, I'm not prepared. Number five. Number five, Jeff Rosenstock with Hell Mode. Pop punk, power pop, indie rock. Uh, very good. I've never been huge on Jeff Rosenstock just because I felt like, and maybe if I went back and listened now, I would appreciate it more. But his production's always been a little too like lo-fi for me, I guess, and it sounded a bit too scuzzy. I might appreciate it now again. But this one I thought was produced very well. All the songs are incredibly catchy. The first, I think, like two or three songs even like flow into each other phenomenally well. You'll be jamming, Paul. This is one that you should put down for sure because I think you
I
would
already
really
did.
like. Yeah,
Already did.
like I'm a little surprised that you haven't already just like listened to him before because he's
I've never listened to Jeff Rosenstock before.
yeah. This one
Yeah.
for sure is definitely one I think you should listen to. Again, I have not heard much of his
Right.
work before, but from what I've probably heard, I would say this is his best work. So this is number
Nice.
five.
It's always great when bands can make like such a nice gateway album like that late in their career.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the Jonas Brothers, the album. I did in fact listen to this on the car ride up from Kiara's going, yeah. I did in fact listen to this for the first time on the
That's
car ride
genius.
up to Maryland, and I've got to say, pretty good. It's pretty good. It's going in like the B tier. Drop it in there with that. Obviously not exactly my cup of tea, but it's well written pop music. It's fun. It's fun. It's light. It's good pop music. That's really all I can say about it.
Yeah. Are we back over to me now, or what's going on?
Yeah.
All right.
Over to you.
My number four album of the year and my rap album of the year is Group Therapy with I Was Mature for My Age, but I Was Still a Child.
That's a
And
heavy fucking
I was going to
title.
say, very heavy title.
Yeah.
But also, I liked this album more than the JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown record. I thought it's definitely not as experimental, but it definitely covers a lot more bases. They definitely take more inspiration from stuff like rock and pop and soul. There's not crazy samples, but I think these ones are a bit more catchy, and sometimes I'm just not in the mood for the very loud production that the JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown record gives. Whereas this one, I feel like I'm always ready to jam to. I think this one's really great. So yeah, that's my
Nice.
rap album of the year.
Fuck yeah. I added that one as well.
Yeah,
Title alone, I was like, I want to hear what the fuck they gotta say.
yeah. I mean, I obviously I'm gonna say that all my top tens are worth listening to, but I mean that one I think you'll like too.
Yeah. It's me trying to pick out what I would enjoy out of your top tens.
Yeah. I mean, I
which
think
I've
most
added most of them.
yeah, most of the rap stuff I feel like you would also like that I've listened to.
Yeah. All right. Code Orange, The Above. That's going in the B tier as well. This one didn't quite grab me like Underneath or Forever did, but it's good. I really like. This is another band where like I think I'm kind of over. I'm not over their heavy stuff. I would love to hear some more like really heavy Code Orange, But I'm really liking what they're doing on like the regular, like kind of almost radio rock side of things. Like their song featuring Billy Corgan was really fucking cool, and the music video is awesome for it. I hate that the Mask of Sanity comes on all the time because that song is just like I don't know. I think I've heard it too many times and it just fucking grades me. But yeah, overall, good album. Song they made for Bray Wyatt was gas. Oh yeah, they did a
Oh yeah.
wrestling song.
Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt.
Oh, he's dead?
Yeah, he passed away earlier this year from he got COVID and then he got like some heart complications or something like that.
Oh,
So
that fucking sucks.
yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, that is a rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. All right, going back to you, Kyle.
All right, my number 3, Sufjan Stevens with Javelin. I mean, it's Sufjan Stevens, so of course it's very sad and it's indie folk and sorry, excuse me. Also, just the story behind all of it. His partner passed away, and this song or this whole album was basically dedicated to him. And along with that, Sufjan Stevens also like announced that like he had some like autoimmune disease or something, and basically he had to learn how to walk again or something like that. I didn't follow it too much,
Oh
but
shit.
apparently he's had a really rough year. I guess he lost his partner. He might have even. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just I didn't know he was gay before, but he might have came out as gay by announcing that his partner passed away, which is wild. He's a very private person from what I understand, but yeah, sounds like he had a really rough year, and you can really hear it in this album. This honestly, all these top 3 for me, I was not even certain if this was the order I wanted them in. I think all of these are worthy of a number 1 spot. So I just wanted to say that because I think this album is like phenomenal. It's amazing and produced very well. So yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about that's how I feel about 2 of the albums that are gonna be in that are in that S
Mm,
tier.
yeah.
Spoiler alert, none of anything left down here is an S tier album, like for
Ooh,
me.
yeah.
Holding Absence. That's another very high B tier album. Like really, really good. Oh, Chris is saying A for the Holding Absence. That it's another Border album for sure. I think this is one that if I revisit this album, it probably would have gone up, but I listened to it once. Other than what's the song? I think the song's Luminescent comes on all the time. Really, really good album from them. And again, I'm obviously like mildly biased because my roommate has worked for them, but like really, really good album. Loved what I was hearing from them. It's just good rock music. I think that's all I have to say about it. It's good rock music.
Cool.
Holding Absence was S tier for you, Hayden. That's fair. I can totally hear that. Again, that's one of the ones like there are many albums in here that like I didn't listen to a lot this year. Like this one, probably the Dying Wish one. Probably probably like the Mugshot one and the Mouth for War one. Like a couple of these albums in the B tier, I would expect these to like rise my rankings if I listened to them more, but I didn't. I was too busy listening to like these fucking 3 albums the entire time and Fall Out Boy.
Fair.
But all right, back to Kyle.
All right, my number 2 is Jessie Ware. That feels good. It's a dance pop / disco record, and I think this is probably the most fun album that's come out this year.
A disco record.
Yeah, it's amazing. Whenever I'm at work and I'm feeling bored out of my mind, I put this on and I'm dancing the entire time. Every song is so catchy and so fun, and it's so addicting to listen to. It's one of those albums that you can literally just put on at any time and you're not going to be like sick of it. It's fantastic. So many catchy hooks, so many catchy choruses, melodies, all that jazz. Yeah,
Nice.
that number 2. Oops,
Fair enough.
wrong Twitch.
Chris, I don't necessarily know what you're talking about. Holding Absence and Alpha Wolf did a fucking EP? That sounds insane, but that sounds really good. I don't know how we got off, but I have 3 albums left.
I think the
Or I guess you did go first. Never mind.
yeah. Oh, I think the JPEG Mafia album messed us up. Because I think when I counted, it was before we added that one.
No, I had it added, I think.
I don't remember. Somehow we're off. I have one album left. You got three. So if you want to bust through two, you can.
Yeah, yeah. Let me grind through two real quick. True Viridian, by Skylar Accord. That's another B tier album. Pretty good album. It's a nice showing of what he's doing. I'm really digging that he's doing like a pop thing, or I guess like a pop R&B electronic. It's kind of all over the place, but it's got some good vibes to it. I fucking loved it. Actually, that one's probably an A tier actually. Really, really loved what he was doing on that. It's cool to see people that are coming from like metal backgrounds doing shit that is not metal. Um, and I always knew that I knew that anybody from Issues could make whatever the fuck they want and it would be good. Next up, we got the Koyo album. That's another A tier. That one just like I'm so glad pop punk is good again. I know they labeled themselves as a hardcore band, but like let's be honest about what it is. It's a pop punk record in the actual like form of pop punk of like it's punk it's like hardcore punk songs but with like pop tendencies of like choruses and lots of singing and all that. Just really 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 good pop punk album. Like I mean, I don't depending on what you consider Fall Out Boy, would be probably like best pop punk album of the year, um, for sure. Chris sent me the EP. I will definitely listen to that. All right, Kyle.
All right. My album of the year is
Drum
none
roll,
other
please.
than Underscores with Wall Socket. If you follow me on Twitter on not very radio, I probably talked about this album the most. Uh,
Pausing because that's a plug, by the way. Please go follow him.
yeah, that was a plug. I was trying to be subtle about it. but yeah, no, I really love this album. It says indie tronica there for genre, and I think glitch pop works. I think it's got hyper pop influences, different electronic, rock, pop, all of those thrown in. It's got incredibly catchy choruses. It's spans through a whole bunch of different ranges of like really interesting topics, and it tells a really interesting story throughout the entire album. I mean, the first song's called Cops and Robbers, and the whole chorus is about when's the last time you saw someone with a ski mask and a gun who's dead on the inside. You got to do it like them, which the whole song's about how they're just working for the bank and stealing money as opposed to going in with a gun and robbing that way, because who does that anymore? So there's a lot of really funny moments. A lot of really creative production. I mean, duh has the word duh. It just kind of goes around. Johnny, Johnny, Johnny is about grooming, which is really weird because it's one of the catchiest songs and you feel terrible for wanting to sing along. But gosh dang, did they write a banger. Yeah, no, I think it's one of the most creative projects this year, and I think it's one of the most catchy. Yeah, my number
Nice.
one of the year.
I threw that one in there.
Yeah.
All right. 68. Um. Hmm. This is one that I struggle between like B and C tier. I feel like this would be like the. No, I liked it more than that. It's going in the B tier. It's good. It's more like of what 68 does, which is just kind of this weird, like, kind of fuzzy rock that they make. It was pretty fun. I feel like a lot of the songs are very, very samey, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, unless it's in the case of like me, where this is not like a main style of music that I would want to listen to. But yeah, um, I guess I should reveal my album of the year real quick. No, it's not Snitch. Yeah, album of the year
It's Spider-Man
is
2.
yeah, Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 album of the year. Yeah, Johnny Booth's Moments Elsewhere is without a doubt my album of the year this year.
Ooh.
I think there's not another album that captured me the same way that this one did. Like, God Smiles is really really good, but it's a 3-song EP. You can only do so much with that, and I think they did the absolute fucking limit of what you could do with a 3-song EP. Pulses is really, really good. I think the only thing that Johnny Booth does better is it's a continuous, like, I want to say like a half concept album where like Pulses has some incredible like song transitions and like linked songs and all that kind of stuff, but it does feel a little more collection of songs than say like this Johnny Booth record that has this like very sweeping sound across it, and like it's hard for them to not feel like a collection of songs when they did so many different genres, but like I just subjectively like what Johnny Booth did better.
Your camera's covering your album of the year tier list spot.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah, you just gotta
Album
scroll
of
up a
the
little
year.
bit more.
It's Johnny Booth.
There we go.
Yeah, baby.
It's official now.
Yeah, it is official. Johnny Booth, Moments Elsewhere. Yeah, Johnny Booth went absolutely hard this year. I think the other thing with it is like, this is the one album the entire year that I was like, other than the Fall Out Boy one, because it's Fall Out Boy and they're my favorite band of all time, but like, this is the one album the entire year that I really like sat with the entire like release cycle of it. Like, I heard Collapse in the Key of Fireworks when it came out, and I was like, "Oh, this is really good. We're getting more Johnny Booth." And then Full Tilt came out, and like that music video changed the fucking chemistry of my brain, dude. Like hold on, let me pull it up. Like, I'm probably gonna get fucking copyright claim for this, but whatever, who cares? I'm putting the timer away. So glad I finally get to see them in February because they're on tour with Silent Planet. Uh, yeah.
Cool.
I think that's about it. Really, really good year for music. I gotta say,
Yeah.
like, again, like my B tier is full of very good albums. Even my
Mhm.
C tier is full of albums that like I know there are definitely people who loved this Periphery album. A lot of people really loved the Sleep Token one. Like when the worst album I have this year that I listened to is Oliver Tree, where I was just like, nah, the gimmick's worn off. I'm not really caring for it anymore. Like that's a really
Yeah.
good year for music.
Yeah.
Anything you got, Kyle?
Not much that you have already said. I mean, yeah, just a really good year for music. I mean, typically
Yeah.
when I make my top 10 list, there's like 1 to 3 albums that I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to put these in, but I can't. But like, again, like my honorable mentions list, I was like, there's so many here. And even some that I didn't even put in my honorable mentions, but just like I didn't feel like I had the capacity to even really talk about that, like I
Yeah.
felt like would be worthy of being a top 10 contender, you know? So yeah, this year was stacked, and there's been so much amazing music this year, and I'm excited for this year.
Me too. I'm very excited for this year. Like, obviously, I know, like, hold me to this, chat. We will put out the No Business album this year. We will. On
Another
my
one?
life, we will. Um, but yeah, like, we're gonna put out new music as well. I would love my to peek behind the curtain a little bit. My hope was that we would have been able to get this current EP done and recorded by the end of 2023, and then would be able to release it in like January, February of this year, because it's kind of just like a EP, like get it out there, all done and all that. But what was I gonna say?
You're
Um,
promising to put out an entire album this year.
no, I would have liked to be able to like have this EP done at the end of last year, put it out early this year. I was gonna try and put it out on the anniversary of Snitch, but that's definitely not happening at this point. Um, because it's the Snitch deleted scenes. Ooh,
Ooh.
the B-sides. Um, but yeah. What can I say? Hopefully that'll come out. Hopefully the next EP is not too far behind that. I'm mostly done writing it at this point, so like it's definitely possible. And yeah, like I'm excited for a lot of other things coming out. Like in the first month, we've got new Kanashi, which I'm very excited for. Trying to think of who else.
JPEG
I
Mafia
didn't
said
hear
he's
the Invent
releasing an
Animate
album.
album, but I heard from a lot of people that it was really good. Like that popped up on a lot of lists that I saw. What were you saying, Kyle?
I was saying JPEG Mafia should be releasing an album sometime soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he made a post similar to what you said, where he said, I was going to make an apology post similar to this one on the 31st because he said he was going to release another album this year. or 2023,
Mm.
and he said I was going to make an apology that I didn't get it out in time on the 31st, and then surprise drop the album on the first. But he was like, it just wasn't ready. So he's like, but it's coming.
Ah,
He's like, it's just a bit more. It's taking a bit more time than I thought. So it could be January or
gotcha.
February for that. And there is one or two albums that I'm excited for, but I cannot think of them off the top of my head either.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who else. Like I'd assume there's Dowboys have said that I think they're gonna start working on another album. I don't know if that's gonna come out this year or next year. I
Mm,
would probably expect it in 2025, just because like they put out an album and then an EP that quickly after it. Like I feel like they should put out their next thing in 2025, but who knows? They're
mm.
insane, so they might just do it again, triple back to back. I
Yard
feel
Act
like
is putting out an album, and they are a post-punk band, or even probably dance punk in some cases. They have an
who
eight-minute
is
long song about trench coats, and it's cool.
who is this?
A band called Yard Act.
Okay.
I'm not super huge on them, but I did really like their trench coat song, so I'm looking forward to this album a lot, hoping it lives up to that.
I feel like 2024 is gonna be a dud year, like 2022 was. You weren't listening to the right shit because
Dude,
2022 was great.
2022 is banging. Try harder.
2021 and 2023 were way better than 2022. Not
Um,
for my tastes. I don't know. I don't know. We got a lot of really good stuff in
Came out in
2023, like looking
2022.
at the list right now, like but I'm also thinking back to last year, like we got Celebrity Therapist, we got the fucking Orthodox album. I had like almost a three-way tie last year for like really good albums that were like almost three-way tied for album of the year.
Last year was a
Um,
bit uh scattered, I guess I would say. I think there's still some
yeah.
great. I I guess I was like comparing it with like this year where there were so many albums that I think are great. There's probably more albums that I liked last year than this year, but then the rest of the albums probably go under the ones that came this year, if that makes sense. Like my top 4 or 5 from last year probably beat anything from this year, but everything else
Yeah.
probably gets smoked by the rest of my top 10 from this year.
No, that's
But
totally fair.
if yeah,
I would probably agree with that as well. I think like my A and S tier smoke the shit out of like most of last year's list.
mm-hmm.
Like they're not beating Celebrity Therapist. They're not beating the most recent Orthodox or what is it? Learning to Dissolve. They're not beating Road Carpet Disaster. But like most of the stuff under that, they probably are beating.
Mm.
I don't even remember what the rest of that list was. I just remember loving those three albums last year so much.
Mm.
But yeah,
Cool.
I think that's all I've got. We've gone for almost exactly three
Yeah,
hours at this
very long
point.
time.
Yeah, very long. I'm gonna raid out. Who the fuck do I want to raid tonight?